What I wish I knew before starting in network marketing. So, I've been building in the online and network marketing space for long enough now to have a real list of things I wish someone had sat me down and told me before I started, and not to scare me off, just to help me to save time, protect my mindset, and just really help me to build smarter. And so, this video is that conversation.
All right, and I'm gonna be adding in some of my list too, because Janine's list and my list might be a little bit different. And between the two of us too, you're gonna get then a pretty clear picture of what this actually looks like on the other side of that learning curve.
I'm Janine. This is Natalie. We're both building with MWR Life. We co run a brand called Abundance Living Co. for faith driven women building online income. And today we're really pulling back the curtain in a way that most people in this space won't. So let me get started with my list. What I wish I knew first off, it takes longer than you think. But that's not a red flag. It doesn't mean don't do it. But when you are brand new and if you don't have a network, now some people do, whether it's online or offline, but if you don't, the first few months will probably feel slow. Sometimes painfully slow. I wish someone had told me that slow doesn't mean broken. It doesn't mean it's not working. The compound effect is real and you don't see it until you're far enough in to actually look back. So keep that in mind as you're starting. The second thing, your mindset will be your biggest obstacle, not the market, not the comp plan, not the product, not the algorithm, not the company, not your team. It is really your mindset. I have watched talented women quit and average women succeed. And the only difference was what they did when it got hard. And you're going to have hard days. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what company you're with. Nobody talks about how imperative personal development is, but that is also typically what becomes people's favorite part is the person they become in the process. So the third thing is that not everyone you think will join or should join will, and that's okay. I wasted energy being confused and honestly a little hurt sometimes when people I was sure were going to love what I was doing said no or went quiet. I thought it was about me and, maybe I did something wrong or whatever. And it's really just them and their situation. You have to remember too, also that no might just mean not right now. And your job is just to share clearly your opportunity, your product, whatever it is that you're sharing, and let people decide. Your job is not to convince, it is not effective either. Let me just give you that little tidbit that you can carry with you. Okay, number 4, who you build with matters enormously. The person who brings you in the community that you're in, the leadership that you have access to, this really shapes everyone. It shapes who you become. And I didn't fully understand this at first. I definitely do now. And I've seen too many people get burned by this industry simply due to poor leadership, like using tactics that feel inauthentic and then puts a bad taste in their mouth for the whole industry. And the industry isn't the problem. It's sometimes just how people choose to behave. Just like if you go to a church and sometimes there are people there that are not acting totally like Jesus. Or you go to a restaurant and you get a bad waitress. It doesn't mean all restaurants are bad or all churches are bad, right? All right, number 5, you have to actually use and love what you're sharing. People can feel the difference between someone who genuinely believes in something and someone who's just performing belief. Authenticity isn't just a strategy, it's really the foundation. And so Natalie, tell us what your list is.
Yeah, and for sure, I'll add a couple more to that because so one of the things I wish I knew was like the correct way to build too. At the beginning, you kind of start, and sometimes it's okay if your ignorance on fire, right? You just follow the lead and you do the things. But I definitely set my own share of maybe those kind of spammy long messages where you write a book because you're so excited. But I wish I knew that I needed to build my network and to build it correctly in the right way because that's part of the foundation too that we help people with now because if you don't have a network, then you don't really have a business. And so some people, and that's why they don't get started, right? They're afraid, well, I don't know anyone. But here's the thing, Janine and I didn't really start with a network either. We didn't have a lot of influence. We didn't have friends and family who were going to join us. And if I would have relied on friends and family to build my business, like I would have never had a business and been able to build and do it for this long and have it be a part of our main source of income. And so, but that is important to learn that skill. And that's what we really teach people how to do. And then overthinking, going back to mindset, like overthinking is going to get you nowhere. So many people will get started and then they overthink everything or they want to know everything before they get started. That's going to kill your momentum right away. So you want to plug in, you want to just start implementing right away. Ask the questions as they come up and then turn around and also teach others or teach someone else. So if you're learning a new skill, go teach it to someone else. That's going to help you build your influence. Or once you bring on a new teammate, turn around. Now you can kind of help them along as well and then help them plug in and create that kind of duplication slash what replication. That's going to go so much faster than you trying to start. And then let me go through all the training and then get started. That's going to just keep you like in that cycle of not really doing anything and getting results. And that's we want to help you get results faster.
Absolutely. So what would we do differently? If I could go back, honestly, I would have pushed through fear faster. I was so worried about what people would think about my content or my messages that I stayed with this like one toe in, one toe out for longer than I really should have. And that cost me momentum and reach. And I would have invested in learning the skills faster from the people that I aligned with. I would have helped my team to make personal development like a non negotiable from day one instead of letting everybody treat it like it's this optional thing. I think that's the thing that has helped me the most in this process because it's pushed me through and helped me to not give up on those hard days. And then I would have gotten clear faster about who this is for, who I'm meant to connect with, instead of just trying to pitch it to everyone. Like everyone's going to be interested in what I'm doing because it's so awesome. And getting discouraged when most people say no because I'm talking to the wrong people.
Yeah, exactly. And so I also agree with each of those. And the other thing that I would do to add to that would be, right, building your personal brand and starting to show up faster and sooner. Again, always just like be starting even when you don't know everything, but I wish I would have like branded myself and built that again, that kind of online presence and influence, shared value, leading others, going live, being willing to get uncomfortable instead of constantly like in my head, like she was talking about, or trying to maybe copy somebody else and not always being myself, right? Going back to authenticity is huge and not being afraid to be yourself. So also learning and knowing your identity and who and how you're going to show up online and like being willing to do that and just and start building and growing upon that because those are the people who win faster. So why are we still here? Let's also kind of share a little bit on that. With there's hard seasons that come, there's learning curves, there's these moments of doubt, discouragement, but here we are, like, we are still here years later building in the industry, and it's because the income has been real, like, the freedom, the time freedom it's given my family, and I, the options, the opportunities that have, allowed us to be able to have and do because of this industry, that is what has made me continue to believe, seeing friends and connections and what it's done for their life, and so just keeping that vision in front of me and knowing what is possible, knowing what God has called me to, the impact that He's called me to have, and knowing that this is one of the vehicles and one of the income streams that can help me get there, that has been what has always continued to keep me moving forward. And personally, just getting to actually work with other people and getting to have that community and being that collective. Like I'm someone who does so much better when I'm working with a group of people and I get to serve and help others along the way than just trying to build something on my own. And so those are things that, why it's really kept me here longer. And the things I wish I'd known aren't reasons not to start. They're just the things that would have made it maybe to help me start smarter and made the road maybe a little less bumpier. But that's why we're sharing with you now. So you can take and learn from our lessons. And now you have them and you can go and implement and get off on a really good start.
Absolutely.
Janine.
Yeah. And I honestly, this is one of the only industries that people can earn multi six, seven figures starting, in minimal hours per week with no experience to get started. You don't need a degree. You don't need any kind of qualifications. I mean, yes, you have to learn the skills, but you're able to do that. Anyone can start, and you can start with just a couple $100 generally for most of them. And so it's one where you also get rewarded by helping other people win and working together as a team. And I just think that is so kingdom. That is one of my favorite parts about this industry. And the people we get to work with and the person that we get to become in the process. Like, let me just tell you, when I first started, I would not have talked on this camera. Like, I would have never done this. And I just was such a shy, introverted, uncomfortable, like, just I was a mess. Let me just say. And the person I've become in this process and am still becoming, it's you never stop growing, is just, probably one of my favorite parts. It's made me a better wife, a better mom, a better friend, and it just been, I don't know. That I think that part alone has been life changing. And so, if this was helpful, subscribe, share it with someone who's been on the fence. They deserve to see like the actual, like, real version, not the hype version of what it looks like. And if you want to learn more about what we do, why we planted here, check out the link in the description and you can look at, what it would look like to work with us and apply to work with us. And we'll see you in the next video.